Hi, friends. Anna, you beat me here. How are you this evening? Tonight is a different kind of class. We are going to explore all the different ways to use the new Stampin' Positioner. Now, let me rephrase that. We're going to learn several ways. I'm not going to claim that I know all of them because I don't, but I know several of them. And every time I think I've got them all, I find more. I think I'm up to 14 or 15 different things I can share with you tonight. So hold on to your hats. We're going to do this and have some fun. Now, tonight's class is different in the respect that I'm not completing cards. I'm showing you how to use a tool. Some of the pieces that we make, I may turn into cards, but that's not the plan tonight. I'm just going to show you the new tool that is exclusively out. Demonstrators had a chance to order it already. And anyone can order it now if they get it in their starter kit. It's a $50 value just thrown into the starter kit. Otherwise, it will be available to customers at a later date. So, wow, we have a full house tonight. Let me start at the top. I see Anna and Nancy and Shirley and everybody. Woohoo! Welcome. All right. Let's see here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cheryl Wright. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from northeastern Montana. And I have a couple things to share with you. I have one piece of sad news, and I'm going to change cameras while I tell you. The first thing on my table to share with you is the product of the month this month. And guess who ordered it but didn't double check her order before she hit send? And it wasn't in my box. So I'll have to get it later. I'm not planning on putting another order in right away, but I did have the right amount. I just apparently didn't add it to my cart. So it happens even to those of us who do this all the time. So there we go. Okay. So the product of the month this month is this 12 by 12 paper. You can get one pack. You're only limited to one. And after you get your cart gets to $75, you can add it on for $5. They're doing this instead of celebration. So this lasts for the entire year. There are some products left from the last 2 months, excuse me. So you can add those in, but you have to have a separate $75 order to get each one. Hi, Glenda. All right, bonus days. If you earned any bonus day coupons in January, now's the time to redeem them. And don't forget to add your product of the month and make sure it's in your cart before you check out. So this is, I'm going to switch these around. Stampin' Cross Country. I mailed the boxes today. Yay! I'm on time. I'm so excited. I told you they'd be shipped by the 12th, and they were shipped on the 12th. So you will get an email if you're a participant tomorrow morning with your tracking number. So I had them all set to go out at 9 o'clock my time. So if you want to participate in Stampin' Cross Country, you still can do it. You just get to do it as a digital option, we call it, where you get to do all the fun stuff. You just won't have a box showing up on your doorstep, which is totally fine. If you're like me, you don't need the products showing up on your doorstep unless you like to have people just cut up your paper, which is fine. But if you have all the stuff or want to just participate, you can still go to craftwithcheryl.com and register. So this is the thing we're working on tonight. It's the exclusive join offer right now. And you get the positioner for $99. You get $125 in product, plus you get the positioner. Like I said, it will be available to the public at a later time. My guess is it depends on how many people sign up and get it now and how many more they have to order. So, oh, you're welcome, Nancy and Shirley. I think they're thanking me for the Stampin' Cross Country box. Okay, so I told you tonight was the positioner, but you also get some sneak peeks. This is the new online exclusive brochure, and it has 14 pages, and I can't show them to you until March, but I have ordered some of the product. And if you were to join, or if you were to get the starter kit, you can throw any of these products into that $125 pot that you get to pick. So this is where many of the products I'm using tonight came from. So just to wet your whistle. And if you don't want to get the positioner at this point, or you already have one, that's fine. You can have these products in March. And that's only, oh my word, that's only 3 weeks away. So you don't have to wait long. All right, the positioner tool. The only thing I forgot to get out. I have mine in an old 31 bag. Okay, so it has, if you watch my videos a lot, you will notice that some of these are repeated, but I wanted a complete list, a complete class for you to have all the tips that I know. Like I said, I'm up to 14 or 15, so who knows how many more there are. But I did a little research and this is what I found. So what we are talking about tonight is this fun little tool. It does not come with the paper. It comes with 2 magnets. This plate is magnetic. On the back, it has foam. It has 2 sets of pegs. It's got the tall set that is for using the small plate on, and it has these smaller bumps, and that's where we line the paper up with. The paper is a separate purchase. All right. It also has these 2 posts here, and these are spring loaded. And that's how the big plate works. So this is the base, and these are the easy lift magnets. And if they go together, you just pull them apart. They are not fragile like our last one that we had. All right, so this is the large plate. I already told you it is spring loaded. These top ones, these top holes, I've got it upside down. So the top holes have to use the 2 springs that are on the base. And these bottom 2 have the springs on them. Okay, so you can't use this one without. But this is the small plate, and mine's dirty. And it uses the pegs across the top, and it has the 4 little springs on the side. So it can be used with or without the positioner, which I will show you. So when you put it all together, I am going to use, I don't know where my paper went. I was going to put a fresh sheet on, but we'll just use the centimeter side. It has inches and it has centimeters. And since the centimeter side on my paper is cleaner, we're going to do that. And you just line it up and poke it down into the dots. And then it is there. It is solid. Okay, so that's all the parts. The simple way that you use this is, let me see what I have. I have, oh, put my tub over here. So this is the stamp set this is the first one I had to order from the March pre-order. This is the cutest crew. It has dies that go with it. And I'm going to use this to show you a couple of things. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. If you like dogs, cats, or birds, or butterflies, this is the one. This is the one you need. All right. So, how does this work? So we're going to take, we'll just take just a little hello. And I'm actually going to use my chamois. I did not use Marion's trick of the bleach, but I did give it a good thorough rinsing. So it's not going to stink me out of the place tonight. So since I haven't used the stamp yet, I just wiped it off. All right, so you get it so the words are going down. You set it wherever you're going to want it. So for example, if we want, where's that one? You know, I had everything and then I have to set everything aside. All right, we're going to use this one. This is a square and we're just going to put it here. We're going to put these there. And then we're going to do just a little hello right in the center. And we're going to start with the small plate. Like I said, it's got 2 holes up here. And you just put it down. And I'm going to move this over a little bit because I want it right in the center-ish. And we're hoping this is going to work out. You can look down through the grid and make sure it's lined up. This does have a little give, but if you put it down and match it up with the grid, you should have no problems with it. So we're going to pick up the stamp. I should have had that anchored. Then we're going to ink it up. You know what? I'm not going to use the black on this one. I'm going to use the early espresso. I have an idea, and I don't know that this will work or not. All right. So put it in. Go ahead and just give it a little push. And there we go. Just a little hello. So that's how easy it is to clean off the stamp. You just grab a chamois and clean it off. If you get any on the plate, that's okay. It will not touch your paper. I just had another. Let me add to my list here. Before I forget, I just thought of another one that we need to address. And I'll add it to my list. Just give me a second. I have a list going. All right, so that is that one. We're going to set this paper aside. And we will be back to use that one again. All right, next on my list. Actually, we're going to do that one again because I'm just going to load it on there. And you can use this piece without a tray. So let's see what I have here. I know I have a scrap. Of course, I don't have a scrap that'll work when I want it to. All right, there's my piece. And I am just going to ink it up again. For example. So my hope is that Stampin' Up! Will sell some of these smaller plates individually because this is a game changer. So just ink it up, get it where you want it on the paper. You can move the paper or the stamp positioner until you're happy. And then you can stamp with as little as 2 fingers. Just kind of rub it around. And then there we have it. See, I didn't need anything. And then I can just take a punch. Let me find a punch. So that little tool, look at that. That's how fast. You have this and a punch and you have a banner, or not a banner, a label ready to go. So that's something you can do with this without the base. I did show that to you guys the other day if you were a part of that. All right, what's next up on my list? Oh, this is the one. I mean, I want to try more of this. All right, we're going to set this on here. And we're going to grab, I'm a dog girl. I love my cats. My cats are outside cats. And I love them, but I'm a dog girl. All right, so there we have the dogs. They're so cute. All right, let me get my positioner back. Got a little hello everywhere. I'm going to line up. I'm going to clean this one off first, and I'm just going to set it on there for a second while I just wipe it off. All right. And yes, it's on the back of the positioner right now. Don't get confused, please. All right. I'm going to grab my paper. I did a whole stack of white so we could just play with this. Now, if you want to just butt it up against these little holes, you can. If you want to use the line, you can. However you want to do it. If you want it to always be, go back to the same place, I'm going to put it at the 5 and against these little pegs for now. And that's where we're going to put it. And the magnets will hold it down. So I might need to adjust. We're going to get this there. And if you want to do the tile stamping, which is what I'm trying to show you, you want your stamp to line up kind of between these two pegs. And this is, I think this will be fine. We'll move it up just a smidgen. All right. These two pegs fit here. We're going to pick up the stamp. And I'm going to actually move my magnets closer now that I know where it's going to be. And then I'm going to ink it up. I'm hoping to use some blends to color this later. So I am going to use my Memento ink pad. Thought about using this early espresso. So there we go. Get it on there. And there you have it. Aren't they cute? All right. We're going to move this up. The magnets go up. I'm going to flip this over. Ink it again. I'm going to get the sheep punch out of the road. Wondered why I was missing some room on my table. Go down to the next set of pegs. Push down. There you go. Now this little guy didn't turn out very well, so we're going to add just a little more ink to that middle guy. And then we're going to do it again. Line it up. There you have it. Isn't that awesome that you can do that again? All right. Oh, well, that just ruined a couple things, so redo. We're just going to flip it over because I botched it. All right, just butt it up against there. See, so the Positioner tool is extremely helpful. It is just not great for people who drop stamp pads on their project. It can't help me there. But paper has two sides, so we're going for it. And once the stamp gets better at picking up ink when it's used a couple of times, you have fewer problems. All right, I'm making up time. And again, so this is called tile stamping or repeated stamping. This is great for words. This is great for all kinds of different things. You just go down to the next layer of pegs and you can keep going. You could change colors and do some rainbow stamping. So they're all different. Or however. So we're going to stop there with this one. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to stop with this one. I'm going to set this aside and clean off my, let me see what I was going to do next. Okay, yep. All right. So the next thing you can do with it, you can do some border stamping. So I'm going to show you another stamp set. This was from the last batch of, actually, I'm going to do it with this. I'm changing my mind. You might get a couple of them. So this is some little paws. And we'll just add it to our card that we already had going. So we're going to butt it up against there. I'm going to be stamping. Oops, actually, we're going to do this different. I'm going to be stamping along this edge. So get the first one, like I said, between the two pegs. And this is little paws. And this time I am going to use early espresso. All right, I'm going to get my magnets on there, and it moved. So I'm going to get it back where I want it. There we go. And the magnets just fit right under that positioner. And I forgot to pick up the stamp. So let me see here. Pick it up. I need this closer so it doesn't pick my paper up. And where's my early espresso? This particular thing is exactly what my dog has been doing a lot of lately, and that is bringing muddy footprints into the house. So we're going to add some muddy footprints to the bottom of this, and I can just tap, tap, tap. And then we're going to go over a peg, and lo and behold, I think these stamps were designed to do this. Look at that exact placement. So this creates a border. When you're doing this, you just have to make sure you don't get these in the ink, but our ink is water-based, so it would wash fairly easily off. There we go. Oh, I'm glad I changed this. I'll show you what I was going to do. I have another one I was going to do, so I can show you that one too. There we go. Now we have muddy prints all the way across the bottom of our paper. So it can do the tile stamping, or it can just do a repeated border stamping. Isn't that awesome? I love it. I really do. I really love it. All right. So we're going to use a stamp now that wasn't necessarily made for border stamping, but I had to show you the puppy paws, right? Just had to show you the puppy paws. This little one is a game changer in my opinion. I love the little plate. The big plate is very beneficial too, but just to be just using it for everyday stamping, this works great because you can use it with the base or without the base. All right, next up, this stamp set is the Good Luck stamp set. It was from the last online exclusive in January, I believe. No, yeah, January. It was a little extra that in addition to the new catalog coming out. But I am from Butte, Montana, and if you know anything about me, Butte, Montana, it is a very, very Irish town, and we celebrate St. Patrick's Day big. So we always have. All right. So I'm going to show you a little more border stamping. And I need to wipe off my shamrock. My 4-leaf clover, my shamrock. I'm going to put it between two there. I'm going to line up my posts. Pick it up. Well, it looks like I had ink on my plate, but that is just fine. All right, I need paper. We're going to butt it up against. All right, that's about where I want it. And get out my garden green. Oh, I'm not going to use garden green. What color should I make my shamrocks? I should make them shy shamrock, right? All right. So again, you can take this to the ink. Just don't get your feet involved, your little pads. So there we go. And you see the green is there, but it didn't get on my paper. You know what? I forgot to put my magnets on. So I would not try to stamp that one again. All right, now we're going to go over one and stamp again. And then we're going to go, I think it works better when you can go across instead of top to bottom on your ink pad. Should have had these going the other way. That's all right. Should have loaded my stamp so it was upside down. This is going to be along the top of my card instead of the bottom. And there you go. I'm going to wipe the green off before I get it all over, and I have to tell everyone why I have green fingers when it's not St. Patrick's Day. I will have green fingers for Valentine's Day. That wouldn't be fun. But let's face it, my husband has seen worse on me. All right, we're going to put the shamrock away. And we're going to grab the pot. And I'm going to turn this way just so it's on our camera better. So for this one, knowing I'm going to make this pot black, this is one of the times that the larger plate shines. So I'm going to switch to the larger plate. If you're using black, and black is one that has a hard time covering, well, if you know you're going to use black, use the large plate, because it will always go back to where it was. Like I showed you, that little plate has a little give in it. So Glenda asks, when you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, do you have corned beef and cabbage and drink green beer? I have had corned beef and cabbage. I have drank green beer, but they're not my favorite. I like boiled cabbage, but I'm not big on the corned beef, I guess. Yeah. We have Blarney stones. If I'm in Butte for the celebrating a couple days ahead of time, we meet at my sister's house and we make Blarney stones. Blarney stones are vanilla cake wrapped in frosted on all sides. So you cut them into chunks and they're frosted on all sides with vanilla frosting, and then rolled in chopped peanuts. And that's what they call Blarney stones. All right, so I wiped that off. Like I said, if you are going to use a larger stamp that you know may need re-inking, use the large plate. And I need really good magnets there. I'm going to move a magnet to the bottom and one to the top. See if that helps. Ink will help too. All right, we're going to make a black pot. Now watch, this will stamp just right. All right. Nope, it's going to do what I thought it was going to do. So we stamped it. I'm letting it come up slowly from the spring so it doesn't pull the paper up quite so much because I know I need to redo it. All right, so our black sometimes, it's not solid black. So you just grab the ink again, ink it up again. I think part of it's because of this pad is more of a fabric pad. And so there's a grain on it. All right, look at that right over the top. And let it come up slowly if you're having paper issues because it's a large image. There we go. And now, perfect stamping. And it lined up perfectly. And now it's really dark. So there is that. Now, the next thing, if you want to build on it, what color would I use? I don't really have a gold ink pad. We're going to use Ugly Duckling. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Excuse me. We're going to use Darling Duckling. Silly me. Did you catch my faux pas? So you can also use this to build. And to build, it's kind of like two-step stamping, but you just get what you want, where you want it. And pick it up. And I'm just going to rough this up. My plan was to get this done before I started, but packing up my Stampin' Cross Country boxes always takes me a little bit longer than I anticipate. But actually, this was the best time I've had with it. So, all right. Notice we have yellow all around. Not going to matter. We're going to put the gold right in the pot. And there you have it. So you can build with this also by just adding little bits and pieces. So there is that. I need to pull up my list, see where I'm headed with this. All right, tile stamping. Oh, okay. I am all over the place on my list. So we're going to set that up there. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this big plate again. I think I've got like 6 or 7 things, and I told you I have 14 or 15, and I think I just thought of another. And like I said before, I'm not building cards with these right now tonight. Right now tonight is all about explaining what this is, why is it such a great deal, and we're going to just go from there. I might make some of these into cards, like this would be really easy to make into a card. This would be really easy to make into a card, you know. So you may see some cards. All right. I think I've got all the pieces back on this. I'm going to put them aside since I have more than one stamp set out tonight. So the Stampin' Positioner is excellent for background stamps. We talked about that a couple weeks ago when I first showed it to you. This is a brand new background stamp. It is in the new release in March. If you're a demonstrator, you can get it now. If you get a starter kit, you can get it now. But this is the Beautiful Flowers Fair. All right. Usually to get this to work, let me grab the block size you would have to use for the positioner tool. This is the block you'd have to use for this. This is very hard to maneuver. It kind of takes two hands. You have to palm it. So this is very awkward to use, where this is not awkward to use. If you have any arthritis in your hands, these bigger blocks are almost impossible to hold. All right. I just wanted to show you that. So we're going to pull this off. And then we're going to pull this off gently. Actually, before we do that, we're going to just wipe off any residue that might be left from the factory. We got to see these made when we were in Kanab. Not this particular stamp, but they wouldn't let us see any of the new stuff. But it was awesome getting to see everything. So when you're pulling these off the base, just remember they're just photopolymer and they will tear. So be firm but gentle. If you have any openings, be careful around the openings. All right, so we're going to put this down kind of where we want it. And then pick it up. And it's going to lift up our grid paper. And that's all right, because we're not stamping yet. It took the grid paper right off the pegs. I could have just laid it on there, but I didn't. All right, so now we're going to get another piece of paper. Another piece of cardstock. Like I said, I just cut a whole bunch of white. Now, you've seen me use this trick before. This is, where do we put our magnets? Right? Where do we put the magnets so that it will, if I put the magnets here, it's going to get stamped on. So this is when we use our old friend Scotch tape. And this is so big, I'm going to grab two, and you just roll it and put it on the back of your paper. You're not going to need the back of your paper anyway. So there you go. Kind of put it where you want it. And the magnets are not of any use when you are trying to line it up with a background stamp. All right, I need to go up a little bit more. And that's okay, because it's just Scotch tape. So I think that's it. Look at that. I would rather have a little bit of the bottom cut off than the top. I want a little space at the top. All right, we are ready to go. And that Scotch tape will hold that paper in place. Let me get it. Oh, it's fine. Okay, we're going to use Memento, because I will color this in and I will make this one into a card. All right, let's see if it's going to work or if I have to re-ink it. All right. Now, one extra tip that my friend Shirley mentioned to me when I was doing background stamp last time is, I'll let that come up slowly, using a brayer. If you want firm, even pressure, use a brayer. And yes, Stampin' Up! Has brayers. It gets most of the ink off a little bit better. Trying not to bring the paper. Oh, look at that. The whole center didn't get it. Now, that's not the stamp's fault. That's probably the inker's fault. So we're really going to get more ink on the middle. It's also a new stamp, so it takes a few times for it to be a great impression. I'm going to put a lot in that center, and then we're going to try it again. Because it didn't turn out the first time, doesn't mean we can't do it. You can see how nicely it lined up. And we're going to push down, and we're going to really push in that center. Get the brayer out again. Make sure it goes everywhere. If you do not have a brayer, just use your fingers, run it up and down. It's a large stamp. Do you see why using that big, huge block, if it doesn't stamp perfectly the first time, then it's hard to line up again. Oh, we still have that middle section. So, and the ink is still there. So now we know where the ink needs to go. And we're just going to push in that particular place. Let it come up slowly. Aha, look at that. So we could just keep repeating until we get it as dark as we want it, just by adding a little more pressure in those places that's light, and it keeps just going back to the same place. Isn't that cool? So that is using the new Flowers Fair, excuse me. I'm going to put the brayer away. And I think we're about halfway done with my little tips and tricks with the Stampin' Positioner Tool. If you're watching this in February, this is going to be included in the starter kit this month. If you are watching this at a later point, it should be for sale down the road. And I believe it'll be about $50 US. That's how much it was for demonstrators to buy it. And we usually get everything at the same price you guys get. Until we get our discount. We get our discount after that. All right, I think I have, oh, there's the big one. Everything's clear on my table tonight. So, all right, that works. And we're going to put a lid on it to keep it from sticking. And we're going to put that away. Awesome. All right, what do you think so far? Give it a like, a comment. If you think this is a great thing to learn about. If you have the old Stamparatus from Stampin' Up, most of these things will work on that also. This one has a few different features that work differently, but for the most part, you can do most of these with the old Stamparatus. Ugh. Why? I get an itchy nose. Maybe I'll take a drink of water. That's got to help an itchy nose, right? Okay, next one, we're going to do two-step stamping. And you've seen me use this set before, maybe, unless this is your first time joining us. Oh, I have everything full. All right, two-step stamping. This is pop-up petals. And we're going to do some two-step stamping with the pop-up petals. And we're going to use the sunflowers because they're my favorite. And you probably already know that if you watched my pop-up petals class. They are my favorite. And since I'm building a scene, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the larger one, And you need to remind yourself to use the magnet. You need to remind me to use the magnets. You might be all right with it. All right, so then we're going to ink it up. And stamp. So the two-step stamping, you ink it up, stamp it. Then we're going to wash this off. This is one place that you might use both the large plate and the small plate, because the small plate you can manipulate a little bit more, like we said. So there's the petals, and this is the centers. I do have Daffodil Delight, because in my opinion, that's more of a daisy color than Darling Duckling. Or maybe not daisy, sunflowers. All right, so you get this in here and you figure out which way it's going. This one's got a little split here. So get it on there, get the centers where they belong. There you go. So two-step stamping, you line it up with the stamp that you already stamped and pick it up. Move your magnets closer if you had any give on that. Now I've already used these several times, so I don't have to worry about wiping them off. And then, like I told you, this one has a little wiggle to it, so you have to be careful. Line it up again. You've got a little wiggle, so make sure you get it in the best position and then gently push down. And there you go. All your petals are done. Now let's take the centers. And we're going to do the same thing. Line them up. On this set, there wasn't anything for the leaves, so you have to do the leaves yourself. Let me grab a different color. I'm going to grab Pecan Pie. See, I even had my stamps, my inks pads, most of them ready, except for that Shy Shamrock bit. All right. There we go. And then you just ink it up. And put it down. Move it just a little bit until it's perfect. Push down. And there you go. You have your sunflowers done. Okay. We're going to use this pad again. We're going to give ourselves a little vase. And what was I going to do with this? Well, it's going to be kind of a clay vase, I think. So get it, line it up where you want it. If you have dogs, get the dog hair off of it. All right. Now, this is a different, I haven't shown you this before. I'm going to have to move my paper one way or the other. So I need to get it between a couple. There we go. All right. I'm picking it up. I am going to do a lighter color. So I'm going to choose Crumb Cake. It's going to be a crumb cake colored pot. I'm just inking it up. And I could have made this a more interesting color, but you'll see the technique I'm going for in just a second. All right, get it kind of lined up. Pop it down. Pick it up. Now we're going to take the pecan pie and a dauber. And because we can stamp that again almost exactly in the same spot, I'm going to grab my brown dauber. I just kind of color family. So we're going to put it on this side. Just going to give it a little darker color. Give it some shadow along the bottom and along this edge. Then we're going to line it up. And you can see where it lines up because you can see through it. And let's see here. There we go. And gave that edge a shadow. I could do it again. I need this side. I could use a darker color, like the early espresso, and give it more shadow. Let's try that. As long as we're playing, right? Early espresso. We're going to just do the very edge. So this is this one, this. We're just going to do the very bottom and the very edge. So you can just keep adding color and restamping. And it just gives it just a little bit more darker edge. You can add shadows. I have the old Stamparatus also, Glinda, and I like some of the features of this one best. I love the fact that I can use this without the positioner, and I like that. This I seem to have more control over. I hope Stampin' Up! Will give us extra plates, but I don't know that yet. That was one thing I did like about the Stamparatus is I could have multiple plates. Because they let us order extras. I guess I'll just order another positioner and use the plates as I see fit. Since the Stamparatus is no longer available, this one's my favorite. Because this is the one I can show everybody and show everybody how to use and have fun with. So this one I think is easier. There's not as much of a learning curve with it. And you don't have to have different layers to get the right impression. I was forever adding shims under mine so I could get it to stamp better. And I'd have to be careful where I put certain stamps because the hinges wouldn't make it even. You know, with these springs, everything's even. All right, so we did that. Oh, this is the one we need to do the next one with too. All right, I'm pretty sure. All right, so I showed you this last time. All right, ooh, got those too close together. I think this is the one I need to show you this with. Could be wrong. But I didn't put them in here. I know. I'm coming back. Well, maybe we'll just show you this one instead. Let me see what I'm doing here. This is one of the first ones I had to buy. And it has dies. So we're going to do it. So you have to give me a second because this is the one where you can do multiples. Oh, I need the stamp set. Need the stamp. And we got the ladybug. I love ladybugs. All right. Let's put these tools away for a second. And we're going to put the ladybug on something we don't lose it. I was going to show you the other one. Remember with these tiles, I showed you how to make, maybe I might still use this one if I have it. Make a template using all the dies you're going to use. But we'll make a new template and do a ladybug or two. Just because that way you can see the whole process. But I won't do all of them. I'll just do the ladybug. because I have a feeling I will be making many ladybugs. Just trying to clear off some space here. All right. White. Is this going to be big enough? Oh, look at that. It's going to be big enough. Oh, but I want a template, so I need a bigger piece. I don't need that big. We'll just make a template. Oh, where's my bucket? My bucket usually has. There we go. I have a piece now. And we're going to make one. And then we're going to make a couple. So get the machine out. Die cut a ladybug. Doesn't matter where on the paper it is, because this is not where we're going to stamp it and then color it in. And then die cut it and hope that the die cutter treats it well. All right, so there's one ladybug, and that's our template. Now we're going to make a couple more. And no, I'm not putting this on the paper in the most... Hi, Donna. Where did I get the die cut? Oh, this? I got it from Etsy, an Etsy shop. My Baby Whale is the gal and who made it. And that's where I got it. And I think I might order more because I love it. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't expensive. I think she sells even to Australia. I could be wrong. It didn't take her very long. I ordered it and I think I had it within 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. And okay, I've got 3 ladybugs. We're going to call it good there. I'm going to put my ladybug in my metal tray. What else do I have here? Oh, Glenda says the magnets on the Stamparatus would break and then they would get in the way. Yep, I agree. I agree totally. One of mine broke and I never replaced it, so I was down to one magnet. I had tape on it, so I had handles so I could get it off because it was so strong. All right, so this is our template, and we're going to write on it so we don't get rid of it. That's our template. We're going to put this on here. This works extremely well if you are going to make many of the same card, or if you are going to, and again, the large plate when you want to do repeat stamping is the way to go. The small plate is very handy, but the large plate, you know it's going to go back to the same place every single time. The small plate has a little give. We're going to just go ahead and tack that down. We're going to see where this is when we pick it up. All right, we're going to actually stamp on the grid paper. And we're going to make sure it's where we want it to be. Is that exactly where we want the ladybug to be? I think we can come back a little. So when we're stamping it, it's more centered. But I got to get my finger under the paper. And then we're just going to gently nudge the paper a little bit. Get it so that stamped image is exactly where we're going to want it. We made several of these. All we're going to do is pop it in there. Then we're going to ink it up. And stamp it. Now it's going to come up with it, so it might not do well for repeat stamping, but there you go. There's a ladybug. Now we're going to make another ladybug. You pop it in the hole, ink it up. You can save paper because you don't need to make sure your stamp and die is all in the right place. You just cut out a whole bunch of these, and then you can mass produce them for one card or multiple projects or whatever you want it to be. This is from the Springtime Scenes die set and stamp set. So there you have a way to do multiple images. And then I slide this template in with the dies, and then anytime I want to do this, I have it in my stash. All right, let me see what tip is next. I don't even remember what that one was called. Multi-image. I don't know. Works great when you're doing swaps. All right, tile. Let's see here. Oh, die stamping is what I have. That works. I already did that. Okay, let's see what I have in my bucket of tricks over here. So we're going to try this. Let me wash this off and get it put away. All right, get the ladybug back where her family is. I could have done this, but this one isn't really ladybugging. Isn't really moving. And that's what we're going to do next is motion. You can show motion on your card a little bit. And I thought the little bee would be great for showing some motion. This is from the Sweet Bugs. This was in the January, April catalog, I believe. So this is not a sneak peek. All right, so then we're going to ink this guy up. And because he's a little bee, we know there might be some black on him, and we might want the black to have to re-ink. So we're going to use the large plate. So they both have their perks. The little plate has some perks, and the big plate has some perks. And together with the base, they have a lot of fantastic things happening. All right, let me grab another piece of paper. And I'm going to line it up at the 5 on this one, on the line. I'm telling you that out loud so that I remember to do it also. Okay, I need to do it differently. I need to move it this way. Okay, now we're going to ink it up. Like I said, I'm going to use black. So I'm using the large plate because the black works better in layers oftentimes. So we're going to stamp him. Then we're going to pick it up and we're going to set it aside. I'm going to move this paper over half of a centimeter. So it's one line on this paper. I'm not going to re-ink it. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to stamp it again. I'm going to move it over and stamp it again. I saw this technique with the car. I think it worked better with the car. But, all right, I saw it a different way. Let's try it a different way. Because yes, I do this. I do research to find out how to do things too. So we're going to do this a little bit different, and we're going to try it a different way. So I'm going to put it there, and we're going to use this one instead. We're going to pick it up. We're going to ink it up. It's okay that it wasn't clean because we're going to go back there. So we are going to use the little, even though it's with black, just because we're going to do it here. And then we're going to go over there. And then we're going to go over again. It also shows you generational stamping. So it kind of shows that the little bee was moving. Does that work? All right, so that's motion. I don't know that I would use the motion, but it was a trick I saw. So I thought, you know what? We're going to just show you. I saw it with the race car set. I don't own it. And that worked really well doing it this way. It kind of showed the car going across, but the bee has issues there. This way, I think is what I would do with the bee if I was trying to see that it was moving. All right. The next one I have never done, but I saw it done and my time to practice ran out. So we're going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then if you're on the replay, just fast forward through this. If you're here with me live, then wish me luck. All right. We're going to use the little bug reading. You guys are getting your money's worth tonight. I think I only have like 3 or 4 more left. I keep telling you that though, don't I? All right, here's the little bug reading. And he's going to read with a friend. So we're going to put him there. We're going to use the large plate and pick it up. And we're going to go this way. Oh, I just had a text message come in. I wonder if it's my husband. No, it's not. I will get back to my friend later. I was just worried it was my husband. All right, so there's the little guy reading. I'm going to get this down lower. We're going to ink him up. And I got some juiciness on there. All right. Now, I'm trying to remember. I think you put this on. We're going to keep it all. And we're going to ink them up again. I know people have been doing mirror stamping forever, but I'm not one of those people. So we're going to put it on there, and we're going to pick it up. And because we want him to be really juicy on the silicone mat, we're going to ink it up again. Okay. Then we're going to take it off. And we're going to flip it around. And you can kind of see through it. So then we're going to mush it down. And hopefully when we peel it up, there he is. He's reading with his little friend. Now, this is only one of the things I saw. I saw somebody else do a different mirror one. But this one works. Now he's got a reading buddy. Pretty cute, isn't it? All right, I need my chamois. All right, let's see here. Got that. Maybe I should have done 2 videos, but I'm just going to keep on going. And then maybe we'll have some timestamp. two-step. I'm losing track of what stamps, so I was going to do which with. All right. So this is the Address to You stamp set. And we're going to try to do a wreath, kind of, with it. It's got a flower set. It's got a flower. And we're going to make a wreath. We're going to get rid of the little ladybugs reading together. And we're going to pull up that piece again. That is a square. Now, one of the things I haven't mentioned yet is that this has a notch up here, right? And you can put a piece of paper right in there. And if you want a larger wreath, you can do it one way, but if you want a smaller wreath or just the corners, depending on what stamp you're using. So we've got that. And we're going to be smarter and actually use our magnets. And we're going to pick it up. And I've already used this, so it shouldn't need too much. And then we're going to put it down. And then we're going to turn our paper. Now, if you had a larger one, you could put one there and the wreath would fill in there, but we're just going to do the corners. You put it in there again and ink it up. And depending on your stamp, you could put it, make your wreath just a little bit different. But this one seemed to work best with this size paper. So I could stop there and just have the two at the top, or I could keep going. I seem to have some black ink on my fingers. Imagine that. See little fingerprints showing up. But this is a technique class. Oh, that was good. I have had more issues with my ink pad tonight. All right, I'm going to push this down. Then I'm going to grab my hammy and wipe up my mess before I get too much more ink everywhere. All right, then we're going to ink it up one more time. Oh, I forgot to move this. Again, you just put it up in this little notch up here. And there you go. And like I said, depending on what you're using to make a wreath, you could also have the paper go this way and put it there, and then this way and put it there. But that's a really simple way to make it. It usually works better with squares, in my experience. Let's see here. What do you store your Stampin' Chamois in? I use an old stamp case. Mirrored stamping. Thank you, Donna. I use an, yeah. So that's what I use. And I have one that I didn't want it to smell bad, so this one's got a crack. It's got a hole in it. Thinking air helps it. I don't know. All right. Where are we on my list of things to do? We've got all that done. Like I said, I have 15 on my list, and I think we've added a couple more. All right. The next one I'm going to show you is for you scrapbookers. If you notice, there are no edges on this. So you can use a piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. This is a 6 by 12, but you can see the width. And we're going to add, if you have seen me share anything on Facebook, you've seen me share things. My daughter-in-law has a horse tack business and a horse business, but she makes rope halters and lead ropes and all that stuff. So I have the horse stamp. Let's see here. We're going to get it on there so I can make some horses along the bottom of this border. And I'm going to pick it up. And yes, I'm going to get, since I haven't used this and I have ink in the middle of it, we are going to wipe it off. And I probably won't color this, so I'm going to go ahead and just use early espresso right from the get-go. If I want to add some shadows or something in there later, I can. I'm in love with our blends, but sometimes I just, oh, I am sticking my thumb in everywhere. All right, so this is tile stamping, but this is using 12 by 12 paper. So I've got it up against those little knobs. And I'm doing it upside down because this is going to be along the bottom. It's a piece of 12 by 12 or 12 by 6 paper. I could have done 12 by 12, but I really didn't need it into my stomach. All right, there's one. And then I can just move the paper over till I get another one where I want it. Ink up my stamp again. So there's no limit to what size paper you can use in this. There's another horse of hers. And I can move it over and do one more. So if you are a scrapbooker, oops, I went to the wrong place. You can use this for stamping on your scrapbook pages. Let me turn that around and you can see. Now, if it was a smaller one, I could have used the smaller plate and used the pegs going across, but I wanted to show you with a horse, what you could just do. You just move the paper. Well, thanks, Flip Flop Princess. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe if you want more tips all the time. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday night. Tuesday night is mystery stamping, and Thursday night is a class of some sort. It's usually card projects, but tonight it's exploring the new tool that we have. All right, I think I'm down to my last two. And this next one, I get to show a new stamp set and dies. And this was one of the first ones that I put on my list also, besides the ladybug one and beside the dog one. The dog one was number one. But the Help Me Grow stamp set and dies. These are awesome dies. And my magnet like that. Oh, that's good to know. If I can't find my magnet, I'll have to look at my dies. So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to make the shovel. And actually, we can make the shovel and we can make the little rake. Because you know, when they're at the store, they're nice and shiny. Thank you for subscribing. When you buy them at the store, they're nice and shiny before they hit the dirt. So we're going to buy ourselves a new set. Oh, and I will use these in a card later. Oh, and I have clippers too. So I will make this into a card later, but right now I'm going to show you the technique of what we're doing first. All right. So these are not going to be arranged any special way. You just saw me peel them off the paper. So, oh, I need to get my horse put away. I never had this many stamp sets out. This is very overwhelming. Awesome. Okay. Horse. I have a pile of stamps up there that need to be put away. All right. So I'm going to grab these and then I'm going to get what I need next. All right. I'm going to wipe these off because with the tool, I usually just kind of drag them around a little bit if they don't stamp well. But with the tool, that's harder to do. So I'm just wiping them off. If they don't stamp well the first time, it's okay. And then I'm going to grab another one of my pieces of cardstock and I'm going to put it where I want it. Oh, that'll work. Maybe push it over a little bit. Put my magnets down because that's going to be important. Next, I need to reach up over the top of my computer. You're going to need your VersaMark. Okay. Your VersaMark ink. This stamp set, like I said, has dies. Oh, that's not going to work. You have to watch where you put your magnets. I don't know if I lost some ink on that, so I'm just going to ink up that shovel again, the rake, and the little trimmers. That's better. Ooh, this one's almost in the way. Okay. Now we're going to just get that down. Then we're going to let it come up slowly. See how it's coming off the paper slowly. We could force it a little bit, but why? We want it to come up because we want to be able to put it back down. And it's just because it's new. So I'm just going to lift it up carefully. All right, I hope this, there. Is it going to go back there? All right, so I now have VersaMark. Now this would be a time when I didn't pick a very good color. You could use the silver embossing paste, but we're going to actually do it with ink. So I'm going to put the gray granite right over the top of these. I did not wipe off the VersaMark. And then I'm going to put it right back on and I'm going to hope it goes in the same spot. Get it all. All right. Now we'll see if it worked or not. It makes whatever color you're using extra juicy. All right. So we have it juicy now. I'm trying to get a couple things off. Then you take your clear embossing powder. I had it out. Oh, come on. Oh, it's right here. I knew I had it out. Okay, you take clear embossing powder and sprinkle it on. These aren't going to be as shiny as I thought. Maybe I should have used milky slate instead of gray granite, but it's fine. All right. Get it all over. Oh, looks like we did okay. All right. And then this. just goes back in. This is a part of the embossing kit that you can buy at stampinup.com, or you can go to craftwithcheryl.com and click my link to shop and get in there also. Ooh, it's fluffier when it goes back in. I didn't think it was gonna fit anymore. All right, now I'm going to grab my heat tool and my trusty tweezers. Like I said, I had it all out. And then I only have one more thing to share with you. I think I've done all I thought of, except for one thing. So you have like 15 different tips. My daughter-in-law borrowed this last year. My son did, and it's got a knot in the cord. She was trying to use it for making her halters and melting some rope. All right, this won't be too loud on your end. You see it changing? So it makes any color juicy enough. The VersaMark makes any color, but with the Stampin' Positioner, you can get the stamp right over the top of where you stamped the VersaMark ink. So you can have any color embossing powder, basically. Those edges. I kind of like the discoloration on the tips of those shears. So they're not as silver and shiny as I wanted, but they are definitely shiny. So do you see that? Well, you can't see it. There you go. So there's that. So while you're admiring that, I have to grab one more thing. This is one I thought of after the fact. Let's see here. Okay, so we have that. It's all dry and it's embossed. So we can cut those out with the dies and make some cute little tools. Okay, the last thing I want to just demonstrate with you is the fact that you can use the Stampin' Positioner with red rubber. You have to be careful. There's a couple things you need to be careful of when you're using it, but it will work with your red rubber stamps. You don't only have to use it with the clear photopolymer. So let me just show that to you, and we'll go from there. Did you learn any tricks tonight? I see some likes. I see lots of comments. Thank you very much for all your comments. Awesome. All right, so we're going to just do your one of a kind. It's a wonderful way to celebrate you. It doesn't matter. I just grabbed a red rubber that I found over there. I wasn't planning on doing this, so when you're using the red rubber, be mindful of the fact that with the photopolymer, let me grab one again. Grab this back. with the photopolymer, there is a large gap. Not large. Nothing's large with stamping. There is a gap between the stamp and the paper. You can see it in there. When you use red rubber, there is not much of a gap. You barely have to touch it and you're picking it up. So when you ink it up, and you set it down, know that it's probably going to start stamping a little bit before you push. But does it work with this? Yeah. Just get it lined up. It's not touching yet. Let's check. I haven't pushed down. Let's see if it stamped. Not yet. But it kind of did up in that corner. It might have been because I bumped it. But if you get it there, then all you have to do is just barely lightly touch it and it is stamping. So, but it still does a really good job with the red rubber also. So those are your tips for tonight's. Let me just revisit what we talked about. I showed you the parts, simple stamping with repeating in case it didn't stamp well the first time. We did some banner stamping using just this piece and not even the positioner. You can just stamp on a piece of paper. I showed you how to use background stamps. I showed you tile stamping, motion stamping, although 1B didn't work real well. Two-step stamping, adding color to the first image. That was when I added that color to that pot. After you stamp it, then you can add some color to shadow it. Let's see what else. Die stamping, that's where you can do multiples. If you just cut out a bunch, I did ladybugs. Mirror and reflection stamping. So mirror stamping is when it's side by side. You could do one. I could take the ladybug. Let me get my little, I could have done her upside down lightly and then drawn some water. We could call that reflection. So it would be like a reflection in the water. You can do that too. I showed you wreath stamping. I showed you stamping on 12 by 12 paper. I showed you some border stamping, and I showed you embossing using the VersaMark and then regular ink. And then I showed you stamping with red rubber. So I have at least 15 down for this great tool. Like I said, if it is February and you're watching this, you can get this by becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, whether you just want to do it for the discount or you just want to do it to get this free product, this additional product this time, or if you want to start a business. It's all up to you. I would love to have you on my team. We are the Craft and Country Club. I just changed our name. So anyway, you're welcome to join us. All that information is at craftwithcheryl.com. But this tool is only available right now through the starter kit special, the join offer. For $99, you get to pick out $125 worth of product, some of which you saw tonight that nobody else can get but demonstrators, and you get the tool for free. So anyway, if you're watching this later, when it becomes available to the public and you get it, well, that's just fantastic too. You're welcome to stop by and check out the tips anytime. And I really appreciate you joining me this evening. I know it got a little long, but there was a lot to show you, 15 or more different things to do with this magnificent new tool. Thank you for crafting with me and have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye.